What happens if my tenant stops paying rent? Now, that was a question I just got, okay? That's an understandable concern, of course. But again, it's not quite the best question. When you're interviewing property managers, better questions are absolutely going to help you reveal experience level of the company you're hiring. The biggest mistake inexperienced companies make is approving tenants too quickly because they want to lower their days on market. They're completely lost on the effect that that's going to have on not only their relationship with you, but also the overall return that you're going to experience. These questions come from actual real life scenarios when I'm picking up the phone and I'm fielding these phone calls for people that are interested in hiring a new property management company. This is a real life situation that I was asked just this previous week. The reason that we do this question of the week, it is 100% to equip you with the ability to ask detailed questions that are going to generate a response that's going to give you a much better idea on that property management companies, and this is a key word, process. They better have a detailed process in every single scenario or you are going to find yourself losing money. And that's plain and simple. And this is going to be a good one because this is one that I get all the time. The question is, what happens if my tenant stops paying rent? Now, that was a question I just got, okay? That's an understandable concern, of course. But again, it's not quite the best question. When you're interviewing property managers, better questions are absolutely going to help you reveal experience level of the company you're hiring. And you want the most experience you could possibly have in this evolving industry. The better question, instead, what you should be asking, what is your process for preventing bad tenants in the first place? Because eviction protection starts before the lease is ever signed, I assure you. The professional process here, the professional screening rather, is going to include something like credit analysis, income verification, rental history verification, background screening, employment confirmation, etc. But the biggest mistake inexperienced companies make is approving tenants too quickly because they want to lower their days on market. They're completely lost on the effect that that's going to have on not only their relationship with you, but also the overall return that you're going to experience. Obviously, this is going to take a big hit. Experienced companies know that a bad tenant costs far more than a few extra days of vacancy. This isn't something that every investor wants to hear either. Even with great screening, life happens. A professional property manager should have a clear process, immediate communication, legal notices issued properly, eviction filings handled quickly. I can't express that enough. Coordination with attorneys if necessary. Tenant screening doesn't eliminate risk, but it dramatically reduces it. Mike, what do you think about this type of question and how it can be asked in better form?
Well, yeah. I mean, tenant screening is so important, especially nowadays. I mean, you didn't even get into this. There's fraud is on the rise significantly with tenant applications. And I mean, here we have invested so much in software and technology to combat that fraud. I mean, we ask our applicants to connect their bank accounts. So this is like through like a plaid-like thing. I'm sure everybody knows what that is. We connect with the work number to verify their employment. There's certain things that we do to verify their actual identity. You can go online, you can get fake pay stubs, you can get a fake ID, you can get a fake everything. It's like part of a package, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There were companies that literally provided this for people that wouldn't qualify or that had previous evictions. Do you remember when all that was coming out?
It's still a thing. It's absolutely still a thing. And it's on the rise. I think it was in Atlanta. Part of that report, the one of those quarterly reports was, I think it was in Atlanta, and it was almost 50% of applications are fraudulent. It's insane. I mean,
That's right. I remember you talking about that. That's right.
We're seeing that here. I mean, it definitely happens here, but you gotta sniff it out and you gotta root it out. Otherwise, you're gonna rent to these people, and they're either gonna try to re-rent it to somebody else or just move in and stop paying. I mean, there's lots of things that it can cause you. So, yes, I mean, cannot, especially in this day and age, highlight the importance of a very, very strong verification process. You got to hit it from all angles as well.
What do you think about when owners are asking questions like this? I mean, do you agree that it's important to ask more questions that are going to be more revealing on a property management process? I mean, do you agree? I mean, because if anyone who's watching these videos in our podcast knows that I preach about the process and how much that helps everything else within that process works smoothly and efficiently. How important is it for people to ask important questions like this and reveal more of their process or lack thereof?
Yeah, super important. I mean, and even getting back to the original question, it's not a bad question, but dive into it. Like, what is your process when a tenant stops paying, right? I mean, like, we are on it like right away. Like on day 2, we start sending emails and texts, emails and texts, emails and texts. By day like 10 to 15, we are talking about an eviction. We're calling the owner and talking about the possibility of an eviction. Like you said, you got to move fast. You can't wait 30 days or 60 days or like, no. It needs to be like yesterday.
And not only that, it's not only communication with the tenant, which is obviously important, it's communication with the owner as well, right? Which is huge. So not only what happens when my tenant pays rent in the aspect of what are you going to do to hold them accountable, but I also want to know, how am I going to be informed? How soon am I going to be informed? Because this is going to make an impact on my daily life, right? On the mortgage payment I have to make on this property. So that communication is also important. So that's why expanding your question is going to reveal that entire process, not just the results and the consequences for the tenant, because there's so much more that is important when such a simple thing happens, like your tenant not paying rent.
Well, I mean, do you have a process? Like, what is your process? Like, I could tell you that
you even have a process.
You got to ride the line between like, I'm not going to like run to you if the tenant pays on the 2nd, right? I mean, that's why you hire us. We're kind of your buffer. But if it's going to affect your ability to get a distribution this month in time to make your monthly mortgage payment, because a lot of people do that, right? A lot of people depend on that rent to make that monthly mortgage payment. So I can tell you that here at Red Door on the 5th, if we don't have a payment from the tenant, we're reaching out to the owner to say, hey, the tenant hasn't paid. We're working with them. Hopefully we have a story or what's going on. We'll give them an update. But hey, just so you know, your distribution might be delayed this month, because even if they pay on the 5th or 6th or 7th, the money has to clear the bank. So there's time in between there where like we distribute on the 12th. So if we get a payment on the 5th, well, it'll probably go out on the 12th. But anyway, we start the communication with the owner, like, hey, your payment may be delayed this month, and let's start this conversation. So.
And what you'll experience there, and we can wrap this up here, but what you'll experience there is when that happens, you'll find property management companies, in fact, the majority of property management companies will hide from that communication, right? They don't want to inform the owner, because that's not good news. So the owner's going to reply, well, that's unacceptable, or that's whatever it may be, because now they're scared of whatever the situation is. Anyway, the point is that we do not hide from those hard conversations, whether it's reducing your rent in order to produce applications and put a tenant in your home, or whether that is I'm sorry to say that your tenant didn't pay on time, and here's what we're doing to ensure that they pay and hold them accountable to prevent habitual offenders. Those are tough conversations. We're not going to hide from them. We're going to inform you. All right, that's going to wrap it up. That's your question of the week, so that you can evaluate property management companies a little bit more thoroughly. So I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to jump back into this month's market report so you can see what's going on in a market that you're currently involved in, or maybe it's a market that you're interested in getting into. Aside from that, that's a wrap. We'll catch you guys later. If you want to hear more questions you should be asking, be sure to check out our Watch and Learn tab on the website, or head over to our YouTube page for more.